Live, we are live, and welcome. We have an exciting episode for you here today. We are talking the Super Bowl trailers. The Fantastic Forecast has finally been revealed, and also we have two discussion topics for you this week. One is, what are the most impactful and influential TVs or movie shows in your life? And then last one we have for you is the tropes or cliches that drive you crazy in movies or TV shows. Let's get into it. And we are live at ReelTime RoundTable, where we give you the best Hollywood news here on YouTube. I am, of course, your host, Josh Williams.
I'm Jordan Burke.
And today is just not a normal ReelTime RoundTable.
No.
Today, we're doing a crossover with Friendly Fire, where we are calling it ReelTime Fire.
ReelTime Fire.
That's ReelTime Fire. And we have our special guest for you here today.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm one of the hosts of Friendly Fire.
I'm Thomas. I'm the other host of Friendly Fire. Sometimes before Sam kicks me off.
Yeah, I know. We host the other show, Friendly Fire, where basically we just talk about random things and stuff. This is a lot more organized than what we have.
Yeah,
so
we're
I'm intimidated a little bit.
I'm all for derailment. This is what the show is all about, hot takes and having fun.
Oh, yeah.
But thank you guys so much for coming. How did you guys think we did for your guys' crossover? And by the way, check it out, Friendly Fire. We'll put the link in the description box below so you can see the episode we did with Friendly Fire. But how did you guys think we did on your guys' show?
I think you did okay.
I think
Just okay?
Just okay.
C plus?
Yeah,
Just
like
okay.
a C maybe.
You see, like you'll graduate, but you're not going to be wanting to put your
C's get degrees.
GPA on your resume.
C's get degrees.
C's get
That's all
degrees.
that
Remember
matters.
that, folks.
They
C's
get degrees.
get degrees.
Yeah.
How's everybody's week been besides that? It's been kind of busy for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
A little
been busy.
chaotic, a little busy.
Valentine's Day, that was fun.
Yeah, what'd you guys do for Valentine's Day?
I went to Marshall's with a friend of mine, and then we went to Culver's, and we got buy one, get one custard. And it was
Nice.
the best. It was amazing.
you
Shout
get
out to
yours?
Susan. I love you, Susan.
Did you get yours for free, or did you have to pay for yours?
I paid for mine.
Okay.
Purchase free.
What did you and Icarus do? By the way, Icarus are one of our floors. What did you and Icarus do yesterday?
We went and got some sushi at a sushi place up in KC.
Aw, Kayla. One of our other
Kayla.
floors, Kayla, she ate Reese's by herself.
Reese's?
I would have
Pardon?
eaten
That's
it with
okay.
you.
There's no drama with that.
What did you and
No
Kyle do,
drama.
Sam?
I'm not gonna. We ate dino nuggets and had heart-shaped potato
Yes.
fries, and we watched a D&D show on the floor of our living room. And I got him
Yes.
flowers and
Nice.
stuff, but like, it was fun.
Amazing.
It was really. We didn't have much. We don't have much money, so cow-coated meal. Yeah.
Cow-coated meal, that sounds about
The
right.
dino nuggets was my idea. Okay.
So to help give a good crossover here with everybody, so our show, of course, we talk about Hollywood news, and we have one discussion topic of the week, whereas Friendly Fire, they pick a discussion and they kind of,
We
we
got
kind
no
of
plan
enjoy
going
it
on.
and talk
No
about it,
plan.
and you just kind of have fun with it. We thought we'd do a little bit of a blend with that here today. We're going to have two topics for you, and then we're going to have two discussion topics that we'll just talk about. Normally, the show runs between 30 and 45 minutes, but today's crossover episode will probably be a little bit longer. We're probably going to hit that 45-minute mark, but come and join in, share the link with everybody else, and
Everyone
join
you
in the
know.
conversation. That's right.
Every single person you could possibly know.
Yep.
Ever.
Jump in the conversation
Hi,
and
Wendy.
give us your thoughts on everything we talk about here.
Mom on TV.
Mom, I'm on TV. Let's do it.
I'm
I
on
forgot
TV.
to tell my mom. I forgot to even tell Tina.
Man, that's rough.
I'll tell her for next week. That way she can probably show her
It's fine.
class.
It's
But
fine.
let's get into the first topic of today here, folks. We are talking the Super Bowl trailers that just came out last week. It was last Sunday, wasn't it?
Last Sunday.
Don't remind me of the
and-
passage of time. It scares me.
And before we get started, guys, I want to give a big, real quick, just we want to give our condolences to everything that happened at the Super Bowl parade, because
Oh,
we
yeah.
also, we live in Warrensburg, which is literally an hour and a half away from KC. So our hearts go out to everybody that happened, that were at the parade, that been affected by this, and we hope everybody has speedy recovery. It's never good when we see something like that, but we want to give our condolences to everybody who has been injured or who sadly passed away from the incident itself. But we got that going, so let's talk about the trailers. The ones that mainly we're focusing on today are Deadpool and Wolverine, Wicked Part 1, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Twisters. So let's get started here. I'm going to start with our special guests. What did you guys think? Let's start off with Deadpool and Wolverine. What did you guys think?
So I watched the trailer about 10 minutes ago,
I
and I
watched
have
it
to
20
say,
minutes ago. Oh my
I have to say
gosh.
that it was very different from what I expected. I didn't expect them to pull the TVA angle from the Disney Plus show Loki.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I
I
watched the
didn't
first season of that when it
expect
came out.
that.
Have not seen the second season, so I don't know where it ends up by the end of that.
Yep.
But I think it's very surprising to see it in like the mainline stuff. Although, as far as that goes, I don't know how else they would pull Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine into the modern MCU without doing some kind of insane excuse like that.
Well, I mean, now it's the MCM as well. I like to call it the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse. So, and if you look in the trailer, there's actually two different versions of Wolverine. You have one where he's wearing a white jacket, and one where, of course, he's wearing the classic costume. But I think there's going to be two Wolverines we see in here.
Yeah.
But what about you, Sam? I mean, you're kind of into the Marvel stuff?
I don't know. Like I don't know. I liked Marvel for a bit, and then I feel like they kind of fell off.
Hard.
Yeah, I don't know much about Deadpool as a whole. I know that we watched Wolverine for Cinema Sit Down once, one of the Wolverine movies.
Logan?
Logan, yeah.
Logan?
Yeah, and I know that one. I thought he died, so
Again, this is the multiverse, so there's different iterations.
I don't know, when I watched the movie, the only thing I had was that it was just a lot less Wolverine for it being both of them.
Yeah.
That was my only thing. I was like, I thought it was only Deadpool. I didn't even look at the title, so I was like, oh, it's a Deadpool movie. And then Wolverine showed up, and then it was supposed to be both of them. I was like, oh, wasn't expecting that. I mean, maybe that's the point. But
For
I
me,
feel like there should be a little bit more involvement with Wolverine, but maybe, I don't know.
Right, and I can understand that. For me, I think it's just because Wolverine's character, and especially Hugh Jackman as him, is so iconic that just even saying it or giving like shadows of him will hype you up regardless.
Everyone knows the silhouette.
Oh yeah, everyone knows the silhouette. Everyone knows he's gonna be in it. Everyone's pumped for it. Some of the things that I liked is that you see the 20th Century Fox logo in one of the shots, which I thought was kind of hilarious. Kind of giving a shout out to that. It's dead. The show that company's over with is on Disney's. But now, what about you, Jordan? Because you saw the trailer. You're kind of big in MCU, kind of like me. But what did you think of it?
I do agree that Marvel used to be really, really good, and then recently they've kind of fell. I love Deadpool. I think it's great. It's very full action. It's hilarious. Ryan Reynolds is amazing in it, and I love Wolverine. I'm really glad to see that crossover, and to see crossover. I'm glad to see that combination. I think it'll be really good, and I'm glad to see they're both kind of getting brought back up into sort of a bigger main story.
Right.
I'm excited for it.
What I'm most excited about is that now that they're bringing the TVA into it, which is big and low-key and all that good stuff. I'm curious if they're gonna give like any kind of cameos to like Owen Wilson's character, who's who's still in it, or some of the other TVA agents from Loki. I'm hoping we'll maybe get at least a cameo of some kind. But I'm also curious about this because he starts off. Wade is in the TVA. They're obviously asking for his help, but then all of a sudden we're seeing him kill TVA agents, and so you're just kind of like. So I'm wondering if maybe they're asking him to take out somebody that he doesn't want to, and so that causes TVA to then turn against him. So we'll see how that all turns out. I'm just pumped for this one. Ryan Reynolds, since he is executive producer on top of it, I don't think he will. He has proven himself with Deadpool and Deadpool 1 that these are great, and I don't think him and Kevin Feige working together, this will be something special purposely. All right, so now let's move on. Oh God. Okay, now let's move on to Wicked Part 1. I'm going to start off with Jordan, because I know me and Jordan have some thoughts.
We do have thoughts.
But what did you think of Wicked Part 1? Because it wasn't that long, we didn't see much, but there were a couple of small things I liked in it, but we'll talk.
So, I originally, when I came into the studio today, I told Josh, I'm not excited for it. I think the cast is not the best, because I was very drawn to the original cast. But I have also done research, and my opinion has completely changed. I am very excited for this film. The cast is amazing. They all have amazing voices. And I know that we were talking about Ariana Grande and her acting and her role in this. I don't feel like we've seen her enough to make an opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if we have enough on her what her range could be, because we have her in Nickelodeon back in the beginning, and she's been a music artist ever since. So maybe she kills it. I don't know.
She might be good. And I feel like her biggest main role is Cat Valentine, who was not the smartest person, but it does take talent to play a character like that.
I'm hoping that it works out for her. I really do.
I really do.
I've got the cast pulled up, and I have to admit that I don't know most of the cast, but that's saying more about me than it is about the actual casting choice. I will say I'm a big fan of the Colin Michael Carmichael, which I think is an awesome name, playing Nicodic. And I just want to point out that he looks like if you mashed Zach Galifianakis and Michael Cera, and I think that's awesome. And I want to know more about Colin Michael Carmichael. I might have a new favorite actor.
I will say one of the cast members that gets me excited is Cynthia Yerbo, because she has proven herself as a good actor, especially if you haven't seen Bad Times at the El Royale. She is great in that one. So I am curious to see how she handles playing the Wicked Witch of the West. For me, again, I'm only based on what I see in the trailer.
Which is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande,
So when I saw Cats, the trailer for Cats the first time, something in the pit of my stomach said this is going to be horrible. This is gonna suck.
Is that what you're feeling for Wicked?
Yes.
What?
Wow.
But then again, I like the director, who is also directing this, John Chu, who did directed In the Heights, which to me was the best musical that year, even to me beating out West Side Story. So it's a mixed bag. I can only base on what I see from the trailer, but just watching the trailer, something in the pit of my stomach just said this is gonna suck. And I don't know why.
I hope you're wrong.
And I hope I'm wrong. But there's one detail I did like is when you see Dorothy and her companions. If you look closely, they're going more with the book than the original film. Is her slippers are silver, which in the book they're silver, but the movie they did red just to help make them pop.
Right.
But I did like that little detail. They're sticking with more of the book, so we'll see. But Thomas, what are your thoughts on Wicked?
I'll be honest. I caught the tail end of the trailer during the Super Bowl, and my exact response to it was, is this another Wizard of Oz movie? And then it occurred to me that Wicked was a musical and it was probably getting a movie adaptation. And that was it. That was my thoughts. I don't know that much about Wicked. I think I've seen it in theater, like as a play before. I don't really recall what it was about. I was probably a kid when I saw it.
Yeah.
I think that it has a chance to be kind of cool. I see that, again, looking at the cast, Jeff Goldblum is in it.
Oh yeah, he's playing
he's the Wizard.
The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard.
Which anytime I see Jeff Goldblum is in a movie these days, I'm like, oh no, oh they're letting him loose and he's just gonna do whatever.
I love him in Thor Ragnarok. I thought it was great.
I think that in roles like that where he's just what I'll lovingly refer to as just a silly little guy, I think that he might do well as the Wizard of Oz, someone who's very much the embodiment of fake it till you make it. Not that I think that's true of Jeff Goldblum in his entire career, just in like the last, I don't know, 5 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. It's just from the acting that I saw and just from the trailer, and I was like, oh, I got a bad feeling about this. I don't know. Hold on. What does Icarus have to say?
I'll take.
He's a
quirky guy / negative.
Who, me?
No.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're talking about Jeff Goldblum. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, I was like, what did I do? I'm a negative guy. Well, anyway, all right. So let's get into the next one here. We're talking about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This is the second trailer that came out that released. Teaser came out a couple of weeks ago. We're going to start off here with Thomas. We start off with everybody else. What did you think of the trailer?
So, if I remember correctly, this is going to be the 10th movie in this franchise. Not in this series,
Really?
in this franchise. Yes. So there's the original.
There's only one other one.
There was the original Planet of the Apes, which was made in, I believe, the late 60s.
God.
And then that had a trilogy.
No.
And then they did, I believe, another trilogy following a similar story within that same
That's
universe.
your
Then they
design.
rebooted it in the 2000s, and that's where we got the trilogy that we all know that was like Fight for the Planet of the Apes, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, that one. And now we're getting Kingdom. So yeah, there's a lot of monkey movies, and honestly, I have no idea how to think about it. I only vaguely remember a few scenes of the Rise of the Planet of the Apes. That said, I do really want to go watch all of them in a single day.
Oh, we should do that, because I
think
didn't even
it'd be
know there
very
were 10
fun.
until today, just now.
I don't think
So-
we should. Yeah, we should do an ape day, and we'll spend like
Ape
28
day.
hours
Do
watching
it.
Ape day.
Planet of the Apes movies.
You can't forget the Mark Wahlberg one. That was really crappy.
The monkeys.
The
scare
monkeys.
me.
They scare me too. I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I look at these like movie trailers, the only reason I don't like watching them is because like I genuinely have a fear of like monkeys and like whenever they get aggressive, because they will
You're gonna
rock
get God.
your stuff. You will not make it out alive.
You
and
forget how strong
recognizable.
monkeys are.
Yeah.
It's insane. So whenever I see
They'll
that, I'm like,
punch.
yeah, no, yeah. But yeah, I didn't know there's more than just like two, because I know
Yeah.
that the ones that came out recently,
Yeah.
and that's the only ones I know of.
Yeah,
So
no,
this
the
is
original's
news to
great.
me.
The others are not so great. The older ones, they're
No,
okay.
the old ones are.
Except for the original.
The original one is good. The rest are really, really bad, which makes me want to watch them even more.
Okay.
So for me, one of the things, I'll get to mine and then we'll go to Jordan. My thoughts on it. If you guys remember our previous episode, my worry was that this didn't continue on the legacy of Caesar, at least his family. Because to me, that's where you want to stick to the characters that you know, at least their lineage, because you care about these characters, you care about their legacy and everything like that. So when I first heard that they weren't doing like him, like at least, of course it's not him because it takes place hundreds of years in the future, but I thought at least take like hit the main character and possibly his ancestor. According to what I've read, that's actually the case. That this character that we're following is possibly Caesar's ancestor. Like he's a descendant of Caesar, which even more made me realize it's possibly true. Because in this trailer, if you know Caesar's character, there's a birthmark Caesar has on his right chest. This character, the main ape that we see, has the same birthmark,
Wow.
which is very interesting to me. So I'm hoping, if that's the case, I'm all in. I'm all for it.
Okay.
But I think it looks great. I'm excited to see how the humans interact now. It's hundreds of years later, since they have kind of, because of the virus, they've dumbed themselves down. Like they've become more primitive. So I don't know. I thought it looked amazing. What about you?
I never got into the series, to be honest, so I don't feel
So
like
good.
my input is
We're
extremely
in the
knowledgeable.
same boat.
but-
I know nothing.
So there are 10 movies, 2 TV shows, and 4 video games all about the Planet of the Apes.
Nice.
There's a lot of ape-related content out
Don't
there.
move. Who's not to move? Oh, okay. Anyway, continue.
Thomas was talking.
you were talking.
Oh no, that's it. There's just
Okay.
a lot of ape content.
There's a lot of ape
Go watch all the monkey movies.
Watch all the monkey
But
movies.
but even though you're not a fan of it, like
right.
how do you
It-
just by seeing what you see?
From the trailer, it looks like they are paying attention to detail to the other movies, like you said, with the birthmark. So I think if they are aware of that, it can be really good. But I haven't seen them, so I'm not sure.
Right. I love how I'll say the CGI looks great as always.
it
I mean,
does.
this franchise is known for its CGI now. Sam, I mean, now you have no knowledge just like Jordan, but like, did you like what you saw from the trailers as far as like the action and like what you're seeing from the
I mean,
story?
yeah, I think it's cool. I like it. I'm scared of monkeys. So I think if I feel scared while watching the trailer,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's going to be a scary monkey movie.
scary monkey.
All right, let's move
monkey
on to the last trailer we have here, which is the sequel to the '90s, my favorite
So
weather
excited.
film,
He's got a lot to say.
Twisters. This is Twisters original is one of my favorites to watch during like when it becomes tornado season. I gotta watch it to start it off tornado season. So Thomas, you're just as excited as I am, but we'll get to them here in a bit. But what did you think of this trailer that premiered at the Super Bowl?
So my relationship with the first movie, I hold Twister near and dear to my heart.
Same.
I think that it has a very nice charm to it, even if it's not the best movie. It's only rated 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb, 68% on Metacritic. Overall, it's like a 2 out of 3 for most people, and that's okay because this is not a movie that you watch when you want to have a true cinematic experience.
Yep.
This is a movie that you want to watch when you want a decent story with tornadoes in it, with really surprisingly decent CGI from the mid-90s. I love this movie. I remember first watching it when I was a kid. I remember thinking, oh no, I'm going to have nightmares about this afterwards, and I watched it anyways. It was late at night, and you know what? Didn't have nightmares because it's just that good of a movie.
Nice.
The tornadoes
Good
are
job.
cool. The destruction is cool. Here's the thing. This new trailer sucks, in my opinion. Admittedly, again, similar to Wicked, only caught like the tail end of it during the Super Bowl. And I think that it has lost the original charm. It looks too much like a CGI nightmare. It looks like any other destruction movie. If you've seen 2012, if you've seen like The Day After.
Geostorm.
Geostorm.
I liked 2012.
I
I
enjoy
like
2012. It's okay.
2012, but it's in a different realm that Twister is.
I don't know,
Twister,
yeah.
Twister is about the characters.
I wish I'd seen the first one.
Nobody
so I
knows
don't
the
know.
name of any of the characters in 2012.
No.
They just know that the world blows up.
Yeah, I watch it for the destruction only.
So, I don't know.
The only reasons I'm invested in this one because it's a sequel to Twister, but also from the rumors, I don't know for sure, but it looks like the main actress who's starring in Twisters is the daughter of the two main actors from Twister itself.
Interesting.
So that's to me gives me invested. Her, yeah. He's pulling it up on his laptop here. But that gets me invested just alone. But what about you guys? Let's start with Sam. What did you think of the trailer?
I don't know much about the original, so I don't have a lot of like thought about it. I love natural disaster movies. I think they're just fun to watch. But I don't know what happened in the original, so I'm not sure if the whole like weird robot things were in the original. Were they?
Robot
Yeah.
things?
Oh no, you're talking about the things that go in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sensors. Yeah, they're in there.
That was essentially the main plot of the first movie
Yep.
is trying to get those to work because it was like a really big deal that
Okay. So what do they do?
They basically it releases a cloud of these little sensors that translate the data to a computer and show like a basically a rendering of the tornado.
So it just like tells us like what the tornado is.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's lame. I thought it was gonna be something cooler.
To stop it.
I don't know. That's what I felt like the movie like this trailer was about. It seemed like they were like, "What do you want to stop a tornado?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? What are you?"
I love natural disasters
serious?
movies. It's like we're gonna fight the clouds.
Like, what do you mean?
Like
It just felt like they were trying to get revenge on the tornado, but it was also weird. I don't know. It was. I don't know.
An extremist version of this is in Sharknado, where they literally they set off an explosion in the tornado, and it literally just ends the tornado. They blow up a tornado.
Oh god, that's funny.
I mean, I guess.
What about you, Jordan? I mean, you saw the teaser. We talked about it before, but what do you think of the Super Bowl trailer itself? Give us more context.
I also love natural disaster movies. They're just fun to watch.
Yeah,
Even if they're not
so
that good, you just can't help but really like them.
People like things getting blown up.
It's true.
It's historically accurate.
It's true. I like that they are carrying, the characters are related from the original to this new one. I like that idea. I don't know. It could be good. If you love it, you may love it, you may hate it. It kind of, I think it just depends on your preference.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, folks, what do you guys think of all the Super Bowl trailers that we discussed here on the show? Leave it. Hold on. Icarus doesn't know you don't like disaster movies. Oh,
that's lame.
Sad.
Anyway.
So I know what I'm picking first. I'm gonna sit down.
Oh no! Whoa. We're not doing
I'm
this
just
again.
joking, Icarus. What do you guys think of the trailers?
Whoa.
Leave your comments in the section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, let's move on to segment number 2, which I am extremely excited to talk about. The Fantastic Four cast has been officially revealed. According to the Hollywood Reporter, the Marvel Studios released a little Valentine's Day card for everybody to see with the pictures of the cast itself. And of course, we have, sorry, I'm pulling it up here. This is how we do it here on the show. For the cast, we have, of course, playing as Mr. Fantastic himself, we have, oh goodness, I am bad at this, folks. I am sorry.
Hot mess today.
Oh, hot mess today. Completely hot mess.
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. And we have Vanessa Kirby as playing Invisible Woman. Joseph Quinn playing Johnny Blaze. And then we have finally Evan Moss. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm not even going to try it, and I apologize. But we have him right here. You see here, he is playing The Thing. So when I saw this, there were rumors going around that Pedro Pascal was going to be playing Mr. Fantastic and Vanessa Kirby was playing Invisible Woman. Pedro Pascal, yeah. He's in everything now. He is literally in everything. But he deserves it. He's a great actor, and he's a great guy altogether. So I have my thoughts, but let's turn it over to Jordan. You see the cast is finally been revealed. Who sticks out to you the most that you're excited to see?
I am beyond excited to see Pedro Pascal and Joseph Quinn together.
I am too.
I know.
I am too.
I
Those
love
are the
both
only two
of
that I
them.
know out of the entire cast. So I was like, cool, I can talk about those guys. That's all I got.
But they are both very good. They're really good at catching your heart. I feel like everything you've seen them in, you've probably shed a tear at some point in a show they've been in or a movie they've been in. They're both really good at action stuff, and they're good at comedy. They like to throw in their little comedic bits. So I'm very excited to see them
They're both
together.
silly little guys.
Oh my gosh.
That's true.
Yeah. And I'm excited for Evan. He's playing The Thing. Other people know him, but he was in the Punisher TV show. He played kind of Frank Castle's right-hand guy on the computer who kind of talks him through all the missions and stuff like that in season 2. I think he could be good as a Thing. I'm excited to see what he does with that. Vanessa Kirby, for me, sticks out also because she was in a movie called Pieces of a Woman with Shia LaBeouf, where it's a very dramatic role. She knocks it out of the park. I believe she was nominated for the Academy Award for that as well. But Joseph Quinn, I mean, Sam, can you agree? Joseph Quinn, I'm excited to see him just because he did so good on Stranger Things. As far as playing like a smart aleck, which is basically who Johnny is.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know about anything about any of the characters and how they're supposed to be acting. So if he's going to be playing like someone that's like you mentioned, like hot-headed and kind of
Smart
like...
aleck?
Yeah. So...
Smarty pants.
Smarty pants. I think he'll do really well because I feel like he really thrived in that role. And I don't know. I think I'm excited for it. I mean, I don't think I'm going to watch it, but I'm sure you'll tell me about it when it happens.
Of course I will. What about you, Thomas? What sticks out to you the most here? What are you excited about?
So here's the thing. As much as I like Pedro Pascal, Pedro Pascal in this role I think will do well. I think that he's going to give it his all. I'm worried that they're going to bomb him in the writing, and he's going to do the best with what he's got. Now, what I think would be the funniest thing is that the Fantastic Four in theaters, like theatrical releases, has always been rocky. There have been, I believe, 4 different iterations now. And I think that the funniest thing that they could have done is pick one of each So there actually are 4. There's one from 1994 that was unreleased.
Oh.
So what I think they should have done is picked one actor to play a character from each of them. So you get like, what was his face from the 2015 one? The younger guy who plays the kid in Whiplash. What's his name? I can never remember.
Miles Teller.
Get Miles Teller to be like Mr. Fantastic, and then get Chris Evans as Johnny Storm.
Yeah, Johnny Storm,
yeah. Just like a hodgepodge of all the different characters, and then just never acknowledge it. I think that would be the best option to go with. That said, I don't know that much about anyone other than Pedro Pascal. The guy who played Eddie in Stranger Things, what's it, Joseph Quinn. I liked him in that role. I think that he can do well. I'm looking it up to see what else he's been in, and he's been in a lot of stuff, just not that I've seen.
Nothing that's really big, yeah.
Yeah. So I think this will be a good break for him because, again, Marvel loves their name recognition at this point. They're just hiring people who are popular in their roles, but that's a whole other debate. And I think they'll do fine. I'm just worried that we're gonna get a 5th iteration of the Fantastic Four that sucks.
I'm worried about that too, but now that it's MCU, and I know they haven't had a great track record the last couple of years, but I think that they're gonna do well with this franchise because it's very near and dear to a lot of people's hearts.
They better. They're gonna get close.
Oh my god.
If they screw up Deadpool and Fantastic Four for the 5th time, Marvel Studios ought to be boarded down. Board it over, close it down, shut it down, no more Marvel movies.
And the other thing I'm kind of excited for, it's just rumors, but I heard that this is going to take place in the 60s. And so they're going to do kind of what they did with Captain America, where I think, this is just speculation, that of course Reed Richards will discover the negative zone and somehow they get trapped there. And then when they finally come out, it's modern day. So that could be something I think could be very interesting. And that's also my partner Ryan on ReelTime. That's his dream as well, because he wants it to take place in the 60s, because that's how they originally were.
Right.
So I love the cast. I think it's pretty well on perfect pitch. Hold on.
They have Papa Pedro. It has to be good.
Papa Pedro.
I mean, come on. I mean, he's pretty much in everything that's great right now. Last of Us, Mandalorian.
He just is good.
Yeah. So we'll see how he does. All right, folks, what do you think of this news of the Fantastic Four being cast? Leave your comments in the section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, let's get into the first discussion of the week.
It's our time to shine, Sam.
Yeah, it's your time to shine. We're actually going to start off with Sam on this one. As far as TV shows or movies growing up, what have been like the ones that really influenced you or had the most impact on your life?
Okay.
And we'll kind of go around the table and just discuss.
When I was younger, I grew up watching Barbie. So the Barbie movie that came out recently obviously had an impact on me, sure. But I grew up watching Barbie, and the best Barbie movie for me, and I will die on this hill, as Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses, and nobody can change my mind. And that influenced me so much as a kid because I grew up as like a dancer, and that movie kind of was like made me really love like dancing and like the whole concept of it. So that, made me feel good. And then I have a couple more. I have one more. And then I watched, and then Pirates of the Caribbean made me realize I was not straight. So that was a good one. Was the Waverly Place from Icarus on the Floor. Thank you.
And we're doing this live, but it's okay. This is what the show is all about. To my crew back there, I see in the background you have the tropes stills. We're going to need the influential stills in the back. It's all good. We'll just continue on. So what about you, Thomas? What are some, give me at least one and we'll kind of go around the table.
Okay, so here's the thing. Y'all are going to laugh when you hear this, but I'm going to stand by. I think the movie that I can remember being the most influential is weirdly Back to the Future 3. Because I just really remember liking the train scene at the end, and I didn't know the context of anything else that was happening. But I was like, "This is really cool." So I kept watching.
Back to the Future and trains. Who was surprised?
And cowboys.
Not a single person here is shocked.
So I remember watching it, and then it wasn't until I was probably in like late high school that I finally sat down and watched all the Back to the Future movies, like really understanding them for the first time. I was like, "Wow." These movies have a lot less to do with trains than I originally thought. And of course, I really like them, but that's the only one I can think of. I'm sure I'll think of another one, but...
Yeah. What about you, Jordan? What are something that's really influenced or impacted you?
I think for me, the first one that when we talked about our topics for today, the first movie that came to mind was Scream. Wes Craven's Scream. That was the movie that after I watched it, I decided I wanted to go into filmmaking.
Really?
Yes. I got done watching it and I went, I want to make something like that. Just that movie where your whole time your gears are turning in your head and you're like, what's going to happen? I love it. It's my favorite movie. If you've never seen it, go see it. you're missing out.
Who hasn't seen Scream?
I'm sure there's somebody.
Yeah.
The first Scream?
No, haven't seen it.
I haven't watched any
Never?
of the Screams.
No.
I haven't seen any of them.
I'm done. I quit.
Get
I'm
out.
done. Get out.
Get off our show.
We're not going to be
Get out.
back,
We're
are we?
not. No.
Get out.
I told you that I knew nothing about anything. I don't know what you expected out of me.
The first is a great one. Now, the first movie, the first Scream is
The first one's the best.
clever. It's very pretty much revitalized the horror genre for the new age.
It
See, I
did.
just remember kids in elementary school would get in trouble about wearing the Scream mask at Halloween, the one with the pump and the blood would come
Oh,
out, and they get in a lot of
yeah.
trouble because it was too gory.
Too gory.
Yeah. One
But I
from
didn't know what it was from.
I'm going to switch to one of the ones that really impacted me as a child and it still does today. It's a TV show. It's probably my favorite TV show of all time. It's Boy Meets World. No, that show, I love that show. It's a great comedy, but it also has, to me, timeless life lessons that you can learn. And even like if you're a kid trying to learn these things, watching it as a kid, but even now, to me as a parent, seeing the parents and getting lessons like that, you really didn't realize you get life lessons from a TV show. But it's great. It's great stuff.
I was so shocked when I watched it because a lot of times for sitcoms, especially for kids, they kind of just very PG. This show took stuff seriously.
Yes.
They went into some dark topics and how to get better from those topics.
Yeah,
they did not hold
I'm
back.
rewatching it right now, and there's certain topics like there was a lot of stuff you can get away with it in the 90s that you wouldn't be able to do today as far as TV goes, which is, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but to me, I mean, that show is really big for me. But do you guys have any other ones?
Oh, I was gonna say, when I first got really into like horror movies, I watched the entire, I think, is it Conjuring series?
Oh,
in timeline order, not like release order, like in like timeline order. So I had to watch The Nun first.
Oh.
So but I will say like the Conjuring movies were my introduction to like more like intense horror. Carrie was the first ever horror movie I ever watched, so that was the first time I ever got introduced to it.
Okay.
I was in middle school, so.
All right, Thomas, what you got for me?
I don't know how influential it was over me, but I think it was, I remember it pretty fondly. So when I was a kid, I'd like spend a lot of time being watched by my grandma at her house. And I always thought it was weird because my brother and I would be over there and we'd be like, oh, can we watch like SpongeBob or whatever? She was like, nah, I don't want to. She's like, no, you can't watch SpongeBob. And I was like, why can't we watch SpongeBob? She goes, I got the show.
PBS Kids.
She's like, I got the show that I think you'll like. And then she'd put on like Ice Road Truckers, which is like a PG-13 show about these drivers in like Alaska and Canada driving across like literal ice lakes, and then some episodes they'll like oh god, like the truck will like fall into the ice and it's like super dangerous. And she's like,
so funny.
and it took me until like last year to realize the genius behind it, because I realized that she didn't want us to not watch SpongeBob because she thought it would rot our brains, although it certainly did. She just didn't want to watch SpongeBob herself. So she's like, I'll just get them hooked on this show that I like watching, and then we can all watch it, which is such a genius grandma move. I got so much respect for that.
So Icarus, I have another shout out for PBS Kids, another influential show that for me as a kid, even younger before Boy Meets World, not many people know about it, but if you do, you are now my friend forever, was Wishbone. If you have ever heard of Wishbone, it was a narrating dog on PBS that would tell you stories, like classic stories about the Odyssey, certain like Sherlock Holmes, The Hounds of Baskerville, things like that. And for me as a kid, that was the only way I knew, hey, yeah, I am, okay? Icarus, yes, I am old. You know what? Whatever. Yes, I am aging myself. I am aging myself hardcore right now.
This picture, I looked up Wishbone just to see if I remembered it, and I've got this image of a very well-dressed dog.
Yeah, and he was just a cute little, Russell Terrier. But it was very, like, for me, it was when I learned about a lot of like classic stories. But we'll skip ahead a little bit for me now, and we'll go to ones that impact me as an adult. Oh, go back to Thomas. Go back to Thomas real quick. Yeah. So this is the one. This is the Robin Hood story.
It's got a bow and arrow.
This is the Robin Hood when he talks about the Robin Hood story.
How's a dog gonna hold a bow and arrow? That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, we'll ask Josh, our boss. Maybe it's available on the PBS app, and we can probably try and find it because I can't find it anywhere else. But let's move forward here for me. Another one that influenced me. This one actually kind of, because I've always loved TV and film, even growing up as a kid. But this one made me first recognize the art of storytelling and filmmaking. It was 2008. I was living in Las Vegas. Me and my friend went to the legit midnight screening of The Dark Knight. And when we walked out of that theater, just Heath Ledger's performance, Christopher Nolan's directing of the film, it just blew us away. And that really kind of ignited something. It was like wondering how that stuff was made. So I'll get to my last one, but Jordan, what's your other ones you got?
My other one was a movie that we actually watched here on Cinema Sit Down a couple seasons ago, was Captain Fantastic.
Oh,
yeah, it's good.
Love that
But
movie.
if you don't know what it's about, it's a dad and his kids. They kind of live out off the grid, away from society. They are brought back into society because of the death of his wife and their mother previous to the story starting. And it's kind of their journey of these kids who grew up around basically nobody, living their own life, kind of being thrown into other people's way of life. And I remember when I watched that, it kind of reminded me of, if your lifestyle is odd, is it dangerous to everybody else, or is it just different?
Yeah.
And if it's different, do they not like it, or is it actually harming them?
What I loved
So
about that
good.
movie, spoiler alert, I guess, for everybody who hasn't seen it, but it's just a small thing. But like, I loved when they went into real society, like they visited their family members, and they were teasing these kids like they didn't know what electronics were. They didn't know.
Yeah.
But then the dad went around and told them give them like math.
What's the Bill of Rights?
Yeah, the Bill
and they're
of
like,
Rights.
I don't know. And he brings his daughter in.
Yeah,
or
his daughter.
one of his kids. He's like, what's the Bill of Rights?
The tiniest one.
And they just go off, list
that
everything
to me
about
was
it.
like, that's the way
It's
of like.
so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's life-changing. If you've never seen it, go see it. It will shock you,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Do you have
You'll
one
love
more
it.
before I get to my last one?
Since we were talking about PBS Kids, my favorite show when I was a youngin' was Fetch with Ruff Ruffman. Yeah,
I recognize
you
that.
have
I
to
don't know
check
that
it
one
out.
at all.
It was like a game show for kids, but
Yeah.
like older than me a little bit, like middle
Yeah.
schoolish. I was in like
See,
preschool.
This came
It's
out.
so good.
This aired like right after Curious George, so I only ever saw
Yeah.
like the very beginning of an episode.
That
right
was
before going
my.
to school.
I
Yeah.
made plans to watch this show as like an 8-year-old kid. I loved it. I thought it was so cool.
I always thought it was crazy because if I remember correctly, they've got like a live, like they got real kids in the studio as like the contestants.
Yeah.
But then they have the animated dog as the host, and I was like, how do they do that?
Yeah, it's just not there.
Because I knew it was animated, obviously, but I was like,
It's so good.
how do they have
though.
both?
But it's amazing.
That's a good one. All right, so I'll wrap it up here with this discussion. For me, my last one is I got out of the military. I was watching a lot of films, and for me, this is what really made me want to go into this business. Was Whiplash. I saw it in theaters, and it impacted me on a level I can't really even describe. With J.K. Simmons, who was on there, Miles Teller. Just the filmmaking of it alone just ignited something in me that made me just like, I want to do stuff like that. Something very, that feels different, that looks different, and push the boundaries of filmmaking.
Right.
You can't get through it?
Yeah, we tried watching it. And it was rough.
I mean, it's aggressive.
I
It's an
wonder-
aggressive movie.
It is. I'll give it that.
One day I'll sit down and get through it. But yeah, it was a hard watch for
It
us.
is.
And it can be because of J.K. Simmons' character. I understand that some people might not
It's
like how
brutal.
that, but just for the filmmaking aspect of
That's true.
alone and the sound mixing,
I just wanted them
It's
to sell
just-
me insurance and
I'm just surprised he didn't get more accolades it did when they went up for the Academy Awards. Because to me, that was that's a perfect 10 film right there.
Right.
So, all right, folks. So what is the most influential TV show or movie that one that impacted you the most as a child or now? Leave your comments in the section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, last discussion topic of the week: tropes. More specifically, tropes and cliches, the ones that drive us crazy. We'll talk about. I mean, we could also talk about maybe ones that we kind of like that maybe work okay, but then sometimes they don't. But we're going to start off with Jordan here. What are in TV or in film? What are some tropes or cliches that just drive you crazy?
Drive me nuts. The first one that I picked is not necessarily a trope. It's just things that happen a lot in movies. I hate when people have a coffee cup or a mug and there's clearly nothing in it, and they're like, put water in it. Can you not put this much water so that way you are aware there's something in it? It drives me insane. Or they have like a whole, what's it called? A cup holder, and there's like 4 different ones, and they're just,
Yeah.
put something in it, please. Just a little bit of water. It's fine. I don't get why they can't do it. I guess they don't want to make a mess, but it's not
What if
really
they
just.
sell?
And maybe the
Oh,
costume
yeah.
department
Just
might
put
not
a
like
little
it, but
Okay, you're clowning.
All right, what about you,
It's a
Sam?
little
Let's go to you
okay.
next.
I have a couple.
You have a couple. Just fire them off.
First one is the miscommunication trope.
Yes.
I hate,
Oh, I hate
that
that.
trope with a burning passion, because if it's like, I hate it when they're like, oh, like they misunderstand like something that someone said, or like they overhear something and they don't where it's supposed to, and they like immediately take it the wrong way, and then the entire movie or the entire episode is about trying to fix that problem.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me so angry, and there's literally no reason for it. Just just talk to each other. I don't know what else to tell
Just say
you. Like,
something.
it's your own fault that you're not. I don't know. So that makes me mad.
I'm gonna double down on that when like there's a couple and like there's a vital piece of information that one of them has, and there's absolutely no reason for them to not tell the other person.
Yes.
And they're like, it was like, oh, I had something I wanted to say. This happened in the movie we watched on Cinema Sit Down. Yeah,
Obsessed
We watched
too, yeah.
literally this last Monday, where it's like, oh yeah, you know, I've got something really important that has like severe consequences for our relationship.
Like, I don't understand. Like whenever.
And then they're really like, oh well, you know, I had kind of a hard day. It's like, actually, never mind. Like,
yeah,
what?
it's just, oh
Talk
my
to
God.
Bro, talk to your partner, please.
It's like, yeah. I have that one, and then for this one's for like action movies specifically.
Okay.
When it's the end of the movie, they're like, we saved the day, everything's great, but you see like the absolute carnage behind them.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like there's millions of dollars of property damage. There's probably like hundreds of people that are actually
Avengers
dead.
do that.
Like they're like, oh my God, we saved the day, and like there's like hundreds dead and millions injured and like $1 million and more in property damage. People lost their homes and their cars. Like, what are you going to pay them back for that? What are you going to do about that?
They're responsible
I can imagine
for
the homeless population in Marvel movies is really high because they keep destroying apartment buildings.
You just described the entire setup for the plot of Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah, you really did. You really did.
I just,
Kayla's got something she wanted to share. Let's see. Skipping the homemade breakfast.
I hate that too.
Oh,
okay.
Because
Well,
he's
they've got,
and because he's
Look at his entire
late.
buffet.
Oh.
They got eggs, they got pancakes, they got bacon. Bacon takes so long to make. They got
And
they
they're
got
fried
coffee.
muffins.
They got this huge breakfast platter, freshly squeezed orange juice. Mom has been up since the crack of dawn making this,
And
and
they
the
grab
kid's
a
like
muffin.
5 minutes late, and
Gotta
he
go.
goes, grab a muffin and sip some orange juice. Oh, I gotta go. Every single show does that.
It
Every
makes me
single
really
show.
angry. That makes me really angry.
So
Anyway.
one of the ones I'm going to skip to is one that's with cliches. One that drives me crazy. It can be done right, but you always hear of the one-liners that some actors may make to help either transition to a different scene or end the show. Like Law & Order SVU, that help cut to their intro. They do like some one-liner that the actor says. Or like at the end of a movie, they'll say a one-liner. Like specifically, one that really made me roll my eyes so hard was Independence Day Resurgence, where at the end of it, you know, they defeat all the aliens, and then they heard that there's more coming, and there's the, you know, they need to take the fight to them, and then the scientist says this one-liner: "We're gonna kick some serious alien." I'm not gonna say the Tuchus. And then it cuts to black.
I hate when they do stuff like that. It's just
Oh
it
my
can
God.
get like really cheesy.
Yeah.
And it's fine. I like the concept like to be like, oh well, we're gonna do this, and then it's like you have to watch the next one to see how it goes. But
Yeah, no, that one drives me. And the last one is here. I put it here for a reason. Now, if you're running
violence
from
against women in media also. Sorry.
Oh, okay,
Make it
yeah.
a little bit serious for a second, but yeah, there's so much.
But
Anyway.
even like no matter the actor, like if they're running from the killer or whatever, all of a sudden they just happen to trip.
Oh
Now
my
if they
God.
trip
Over
like
nothing.
legitimately like trip over something, fine. If they fall, fine.
They just like fall.
But if they like
What did you
legit
trip
fall
over?
their legs, the
three-act
third act
structure.
structure is
Going
yeah.
after the whole 3-act structure.
Dang, the whole 3-act structure, really. Holy
Acres is
cow.
on fire.
Man, that's rough. But I don't know if I agree with that. But that
was a
one for
hot,
me
hot
is just
take.
really
That
drives me
was
crazy.
a
It makes me roll my
scorching
eyes
take.
every time. But what about
Right.
you, Jordan?
The other one I put down, and I love that Not Another Teen Movie is just a whole parody, and they really took out on this one. But when you have the nerdy character that is like super weird and nerdy and
Take off the glasses.
awkward, and then they meet the popular character, and then they get a makeover, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, they're so attractive and cool.
Yeah.
When they were actually already good
Oh my
looking
God, all they
and
did,
probably
they're like-
cooler from the beginning than
Yeah.
after they got the makeover. I hate when that
That brings
happens.
me to a trope that I hate too, when they're like, "You're ugly. How are we gonna fix that?" Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
Glasses are gone. You're suddenly attractive.
Yeah, the training montage. That's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
kind of in the
I
similar
kind of
vein,
like
I
training
think.
montages sometimes.
If it's done well.
If it's done well.
If it's done
Yeah.
well,
I
it's
like
good.
it just because it
There's,
speeds the plot along. I don't have to watch it all. So I'm like, I don't want to
That's
see you train.
My beef with all that comes from the
Liar
Liar
reveal
reveal.
trope.
Oh yeah, the liar reveal.
liar
Yeah.
reveal. What does that mean?
So it's kind of like when someone who was like doing like who was lying all along, like who was like the villain
when they
behind the
get,
whole
like,
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, twist villain.
Yeah, twist villain kind of thing.
I don't like when they do a bet, like in a romance movie, like, oh, I was given like a bet to like date you, but now I
Yeah,
love
it was
you.
a dare. It
Come
was a
on
bet.
now. Have
From-
some.
Some of them,
Sorry.
like for my
Anyway.
last one, some of them can be done fine if it's warranted for the film or the TV show. But I hate like just throwing in a love triangle just to throw it in.
Oh my God.
Drives me insane. 1 minute. Oh, we got 1 minute. We're gonna wrap up time, but we'll go just a little bit over. It's okay. Just a little bit over. It's okay. It's
Just a
okay, guys.
little
It's okay.
longer.
Everyone take a
All
deep
right,
breath.
but what about you? Let's give us your last trope or cliche before we sound off for the day.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go with the action movie trope where there's like, so there's the main character, the love interest, and then like the bestie to the main character, and in so many action movies, there's like the final conflict, and they're like, yeah, we did it, that was really tough, and then like usually the side character or the love interest, whoever that side, one of the two side characters is like, yeah, we got him, and then they suddenly just like fall over and reveal they've been stabbed the whole time or something ridiculous like that. And it's like, oh, actually, I'm gonna die now.
I like that one. I like it better in like when it's done well.
When it's done well.
It can be done well. I've seen it done well.
Sometimes it's absolutely heartbreaking and it really makes the movie, but sometimes it's like,
yeah.
I think the problem is it just got done so many times poorly.
Yeah.
Because it's done really well.
Yeah.
But.
Well, all right, folks. What is your trope or cliche that drives you crazy? Leave your comments in the section below. Let us know your thoughts. And that will do us for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the crossover. Thank you, Sam and Thomas, for joining us. Watch Friendly Fire. It comes out on Tuesdays, typically is when we air. I'm not sure when it goes on Red Digital.
It's supposed to go up every Friday on my channel. Red Digital, whenever Josh posts it.
Yeah, sure.
It's the current first and second seasons are being posted there now, and we're filming the third season.
Heck yeah. Keep a lookout for their crossover. I'll throw a link in the description box below for the Friendly Fire. Also, for ReelTime, we post on these there as well. Of course, all my audiences watch it there on ReelTime. Check it out on Red Digital and help show your support. Also, if you like what you watched, hit that like button and punch that subscribe channel.
Why are we being violent here?
Because that's how we do it on this show.
Oh my god.
We're violent.
All right now.
And hit the notification bell so you receive all of our great content we have here on Red Digital and on ReelTime. More specifically, Red Digital. We have the D&D show that happens on Fridays. We have cinema sit-downs on Mondays. And, of course, Friendly Fire with our esteemed guest right here. What is that?
That's us.
Oh, that's us. Hey.
Like 10 seconds ago.
Wow.
All right, folks. Well, that is for today. Again, I'm Josh Williams.
I'm Jordan Burke.
I'm Tom Delzeit.
I'm Sam.
And thank you for keeping it real with ReelTime.
And Friendly Fire.
And for the back.
And from the fire.